Hayden Haddock with us here on the Ranch Sitdown. You did that Luke Combs song. It was really good of you to do that because who knows where he would have been
Yeah,
if not for you covering that
exactly.
song on a
I
video. Let's
know.
be honest.
Yeah, he might owe me a few $1,000,000
Right?
or something. I
Don't
don't
you
know.
wish? But at least just an opening gig at one point.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be
So-
good. Take that.
So, like, what's the goal for Hayden Haddock with your music? I mean, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself, say, 10 years from now?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the goal is just to grow this thing as big as we can. And obviously being here from Texas and running this, I guess, kind of Texas gig, you'd call it, for the last 5-6 years, whatever it's been. This will always be the home state, and I assume always where I'll do best with crowds and everything. But the goal is ultimately to kind of turn it into bigger than a Texas thing. But like I said, I'm Texas tried and true, so nothing against that.
Right.
But yeah, just try and see what we can do. Try to follow in Cody Johnson's footsteps or Randall's footsteps or
You should
Luke
follow
Combs.
somebody
Yeah.
good and popular and,
Yeah.
successful instead, but whatever. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Texas is you've got a really good blueprint on how to do this thing and be successful and make a career out of it. A lot of other states don't have that.
That
and
is
that's
absolutely true.
so cool that we have that in this state.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and that's what I couldn't imagine. Trying to start this kind of career somewhere else. It would have been crazy, especially. I lived in Nashville for the last year. We just moved back a couple months ago, and just seeing and meeting different artists and even songwriters that kind of move up there to start their journey of this career. And good on them for trying. Obviously, I'm big into follow your dreams, but man, there's just so many people there trying to do the same thing, and so many, sadly, super talented artists and songwriters that get overlooked that are never going to have that shot.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying I've had my big break or anything like that, but it could definitely be going worse.
Absolutely, it could. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It's wild to me though, like that so many of us Texas artists have to go to Nashville to take care of that stuff. I wish we had that industry here, just say Fort Worth. I mean, how cool would that be for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's definitely getting there. I think over the years I've seen it definitely get better. Just in terms of even people, writing a little bit more here. And I actually got to meet quite a few songwriters up in Nashville that come back to Texas all the time. And then obviously there's some great studios around here. I still go up to Nashville just because working with old Trent Willman.
Yeah.
So he's up there. So that's why I go up there. But there's a bunch of great studios and all that stuff. So I think that part of the industry is growing here.
How did you get involved with a guy like Trent Willman? Trent Willman, a lot of people don't know, does Cody Johnson's albums.
Yep.
So and just to name one, he does a lot of really big artists,
Fowler,
really
Krager,
great, really great stuff. Like, how did you get in on that?
Yeah, so that was kind of a fluke deal, or not a fluke, but it kind of came out of left field. Basically, at the time, my publicist, I was taking she was out of Nashville, and I was taking my first trip to Nashville. I'd never done anything up there, and so she said, hey, why don't I use some of my connections, and I'll get you some writing spots, And I'm like, okay, great. And where she had Trent's contact, I don't know, but she just called me one day and was like, hey, so I got you a write with Trent Willman. And I'm like, wait, like this Trent Willman?
Like just full of it?
Yeah, well, yeah. Or I thought it was
who
a different Trent Willman, yeah. And, of course, I had already known who he was, obviously just through being a fan of Cody Johnson and hearing the stuff he wrote, and Cody talking about him on interviews and all that stuff. And so, anyways, it was, I was very starstruck and nervous to go in there. And so met him, and we wrote a song off my second album that he ended up producing called Where You Come In. That was the first song I ever wrote in Nashville, first song I wrote with Trent. And it was after we got done writing that song that Trent was kind of like, hey, man, so who's producing your next album? And I'm like, I haven't even thought about an album, or, we don't really know what we're doing in this business.
You're still trying to figure things out.
He goes, well, maybe we could work together, and I'd love to work with you if you'd have me. And so from then on, the rest is kind of history. So we've been working together quite a while now, and currently he's managing me, and outside of that, he's always just been a great mentor. And so I love that dude, and I owe a lot to him for sure.
It's a big testament to what you are as a country artist when a guy like Trent Willman, who could work with whoever he feels like, quite honestly.
Yeah,
says,
absolutely.
I'm in your corner.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. I owe him for a lot all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you went to Texas A&M. What was the major? What was the
Construction
idea?
science.
Construction science.
Yeah. So I come from a whole family of Aggies and a family of construction people. And so I'm the only one in my family that's done anything other than go get your degree and work a regular person's job. So
really?
It's taken
so
some of the
else...
family a little time to adapt to that and understand. But now everybody's good. But yeah, so construction degree. The only time I used it was when I was doing my internship that I had to do to graduate. And,
right.
Hopefully, I will never use it again. That's the goal.
You could have been building the new A&M Law Center over here in Fort Worth.
Have they?
Yeah, they
See,
just
I'm
started
bad.
that
I don't
construction.
keep up with all that.
Yeah, it's a couple blocks away. I think they're like 4 or 5 stories into that project
Gotcha.
already. Yeah,
they're always doing something. That school's growing like crazy.
That is crazy. So if you weren't doing music, it sounds like that's what you would be doing?
Probably so. Yeah, if I had to guess, that would have been the typical graduate internship.
Just miserable, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I hear my brother complain a lot, so I'm just kidding. But, I can tell you this, doing this is a lot more fun than, be sitting in a cubicle right now. So.
Right, yeah. And
or in a job trailer.
Just as much stress, probably, as there is in that, yeah. So what first got you even interested in music? Do you remember that moment where you thought, I can do this?
Yeah, so I remember, I guess around the time I was like 14, 15, somewhere in there, for like a span of 3 years, my dad, kind of our big Christmas gift, me and all my brothers, would be tickets to go see Kenny Chesney every year. And it was mainly because my dad was a huge Kenny Chesney fan. But we learned to like him, so yeah.
Flip-flops,
now he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So one of the years, it may have been, I think it was the second time we had gone, but Eric Church opened up for Kenny, was direct support, and this was back in Eric's like true chief days, still the ball cap, scraggly hair, glasses,
sunglasses,
and I think it was right when that Chief album came out, because I remember he opened with Creepin', and it was just this cool, it was just awesome, and I remember I left that concert, and something about watching Eric, and he always plays that Gibson Hummingbird, something about watching that, I told my dad and my stepmom, I'm like, hey, I want to take guitar lessons, like, I really want to learn how to play the guitar. And my dad said, well, sit on it for a week because I'm not going to pay for these lessons. And I know you're going to be interested in this for a couple of days and then, not care anymore. And then I kept asking. And then it turned into, well, I'm not going to buy you a guitar. We're going to rent you one because, I know you're going to pick this up for a week. And
that's what a lot of parents think, though, honestly.
And so he ended up buying me a little cheap. It was like a $200 Yamaha. And now I wish I would have kept that guitar.
Kept it, yeah.
But anyway, so I took guitar lessons for I think 4 or 6 months, and then after that, just kind of self-taught. And but like I said, I would not play the guitar in front of them. They would ask all the time. I would just basically lock myself in my room or late at night when I thought everybody was asleep. But I would not do it. And so I guess fast forward 4 years after that, 4 or 5 years after that, getting to A&M is what it took. So yeah.
God, that's wild.
It all came on kind of quick.
How long before you felt comfortable on a stage?
I would tell you that was the weird thing, was like even that first one, I was nervous before I went up, but as soon as I got, I don't know, into the first chorus or so, I was comfortable. Like, so I
felt natural.
So ever since then, I've maybe been nervous a couple times going on stage, but yeah, there's just something about it. And I thought it was weird too, because I know I'm a shy person at heart.
Right. You are a different person, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, and that happens for a lot of guys and gals. They get up on stage and are a completely different character, and they don't even know how to explain it, and you're not trying to be anything different.
Definitely.
Just this thing comes out of you.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
wild.
That's what I think my favorite story kind of about that is even like Ed Sheeran. I'm a big Ed Sheeran fan. And he talks about, when he doesn't have a guitar in his hands, he's like very socially awkward and not a big talker. But he said once he gets on stage and you hand him a guitar, he's, different animal,
but
basically.
I wonder what he'd be like on stage without the guitar.
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's always, it's uncomfortable for you guys, isn't it? Like, we don't know what to do. So if you were to write a song about Texas barbecue, Hayden, what meat would get the most mentions in a verse?
Probably brisket.
Brisket is yours.
I'll say brisket.
Are you good?
Most mentioned.
Are you good at smoking a brisket?
So the brisket I'm still trying to perfect.
Right.
I've probably only smoked about 6 or 7 at this point because they're also very expensive nowadays.
Yeah, they are.
So,
what happened?
So I've done a few of them, and every time it would get better, and they were always edible. But I'm a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like that. So, but my ribs are really good. I've got those down. Obviously, pork butt. That's easy. But yeah, probably my favorite though, like going to a barbecue joint. Obviously, judge them off their brisket, but then for me, it's their like jalapeno cheddar sausage.
Oh yeah,
that is one of my go-tos.
That's when you know.
that would somehow work its way into a song.
It's gonna be hard to rhyme jalapeno cheddar sausage, but you can make it. I think you can make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you could switch places for one day with any Texas music legend, who would that be?
That's a good question.
Oh, it's a difficult question. I don't
That
know if it's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you consider George Strait a Texas
Yeah, of
legend?
course.
Okay, I would say George
yeah.
Strait just to see what that is like to
So
be
you can
George
just
Strait.
be super famous
Yeah.
and put in no effort is what you're saying? Is that you? That you're saying that?
Yeah.
Not me, you.
No, probably him just to see, but maybe him back in his heyday when he was like, getting after it really.
Honky-tonking
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that would be cool.
That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? It definitely would. What's been your greatest moment on stage so far?
Oh, you got these hard thinking questions.
I won't do any other hard questions after this.
Something that always sticks out to me. That's not really something that happened specifically, but we were lucky enough. I guess it was a few years ago now. We did a big run of shows with Steve Wariner.
Oh wow!
And so one of the big bucket list venues in Texas was Flores Country Store, and so we were lucky we got to do that with him on the outdoor stage.
Oh yeah,
sold out.
That's such a
and
cool
there
place.
was just something about that crowd that, man, I'd never had crowd response like that before, and which was crazy because obviously it's a little bit older crowd and all this stuff, but there was a good mix of people there. But there was just something that every word it felt like I said, I mean, they would just erupt.
Wow.
And that was just me as the opener, so no telling how Steve felt about it. But
that's a cool place to pull up and you see Willie Nelson weekly.
Yep.
And like, God, these signs are so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd love
It's
to
a
get back
moment
out
for
there.
you as an artist, isn't it?
Definitely.
That is.
Yeah, that was a cool, just all around that as a show. And then people always ask, like, what's your favorite venue? Flores has probably been my favorite. That was just all around a great experience.
That is a good story.
And to get to hear Steve Wariner play hit after hit after
Right,
hit.
right.
Yeah.
You're done early for the night and get to watch a legend.
Exactly.
Can't really beat that deal.
No, not at all. He was the only artist that we've opened for, and we did 9 shows with him, weekends back to back to back. And we literally, me and my band, every night we'd load out, get off the stage, and then we would sit side stage and watch the show from first song to last song every night.
Trying to learn some tricks.
I mean, yeah, he still got it too.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's awesome. It's Hayden Haddock with us here on the Ranch Sitdown. You want to do one more song?
Yeah.
Tell us what we're going to hear, sir.
Yeah, I'll play you. We put this song out at the beginning of the year, and I always say this is probably bad marketing, but I think this is my most favorite song I've ever put out, and simply just from a lyrical standpoint. And I wish I wrote this one. I didn't, but Mr. Trent had a part in this.
All right.
That's called Rolling Stone.
Yes.
I'm just a lucky tumbleweed that's hung up on her picket fence. I don't know what she sees in me, or why that girl ain't called it quits. She knows she'll have to share me with the wind every time that highway calls again. She swears that I'm her rock, but I know I'm nowhere near as strong as that girl who loves a rambling man through midnight calls and someday plans, waiting on these headlights headed home. No, it ain't easy holding on when your rock's a rolling stone. She never lets me see her cry as my taillights fade into that dust. Well, she gets us through the lonely nights with love enough for both of us. She's the tough I wish I was, and she swears that I'm her rock, but I know I'm nowhere near as strong is that girl who loves a rambling man through midnight calls and someday plans, waiting on these headlights headed home. No, it ain't easy holding on when your rock's a rolling stone. She knows she'll have to share me with the wind every time that highway calls again. She swears that I'm her rock, but I know I'm nowhere near as strong as that girl who loves a rambling man through midnight calls and someday plans, waiting on these headlights headed home. No, it ain't easy holding on when your rock's a rolling stone. Girl, I'm headed home. Yeah, you're rolling stone.
Hayden Haddock, thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
That was a fantastic song. It really
Hey,
was.
thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
If you could be a little more country, you can really make it in this business.
Yeah.
No, man. So what's the next big thing for you?
Man, we've got a bunch of shows coming up that we're excited about. I mean, that's the goal. We're trying to stay as busy as we can. But yeah, we're headed to Mississippi this weekend for a frat party, so that just sounds fun in itself. Yeah, I mean, although it's an Ole Miss frat party, and I'm an A&M guy, but hey, the money's the same, so it's going to be fine.
Gonna strike.
No, we've got that, and then we've got
good shows like with Randall, and you got
so we've got a show coming up. After that, we're at Marty B's in Bartonville, sold out show with Stoney LaRue.
Yep.
Then we're doing a big run with Randall towards the end of the month. We're going to Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, 3 states I've never been to.
Oh, good.
So that'll be fun. Obviously, always a good time with old Randall King. And then after that, we come back, and we've got something in Oklahoma, and then we're doing a show with Aaron Watson out in Gatesville. So
fantastic.
We've got some great stuff lined up, and that's just this month. So
that's a good month right there, buddy.
I thought so, too.
Hayden, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, man. Best of luck, and be safe out there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.